Before we get started, just a recap for everyone who may be watching this at some point and does not know who we are. I'm Wendy. I run the Housing Rebels at Selling Later, and we're basically a community of consumers and providers, industry professionals, some regulators who are in there in secrecy, and really just are disgusted with the industry and trying to better educate and protect consumers with different tools and educational systems and processes to help make sure you don't get screwed over when you buy or sell a home. And one thing that keeps coming up over and over again is issues in new construction. So Cy Porter has graciously decided to join us with his wall of shame in the background, is I think what I'm going to call it. I think that'll be my new term. And Robert Knowles as well. If you're not familiar with Robert, he is kind of like the Cy Porter on the East Coast. But for those of you who may not be familiar with him, Cy, you can go first. Maybe just a quick explanation as to who you are if they're not familiar with you.
Yeah, so once again, I'm Cy Porter. I specialize in making builders and TikTok electricians cry.
There you go.
Oh, I die every time you show the one episode of the electrician who said something like, "Yeah, no one knows who you are, but like everyone knows who I am." And I'm thinking like, I have no idea who you are, dude. Like, why are you? Oh, these people think their view counts make them like some god, but outside of TikTok, nobody cares. But it's your valuable work that you do that really matters. So sorry. Okay, Robert, real quick for you.
I'm the president, owner of Knowles Inspection Services, doing home inspections on the East Coast. We've been in business almost 20 years now, and just being a thorn in the side of all the builders who are trying to get away with building. We focus on code compliance, making sure that homes are actually built to code. I'm a licensed engineering firm and a licensed professional engineer. So we've got a different spin on doing home inspections, taking it maybe to another level, emphasizing code, and as well as all the other things that go with any standard home inspection. At the same time, I, like Cy, have been battling against these builders for years and realized that I can't change the way they think. I can't make them fix things. We'll find, dozens and dozens of violations on every single house they build. We tell them about it. Do they fix it? Well, they might fix it immediately, but do they fix the problem, which is making the same mistakes over and over again on every other house they build for years to come? And we're not seeing any changes. Probably, Sai, you're probably not either. It doesn't get better. Just they make the same mistakes over and over again forever. How do we change that? And I realized that I can't do it as a home inspection business working with a single homeowner. I need to gather all the homeowners together. So I've started an association, National Association of Homeowners, kind of to go up against the National Association of Home Builders, and see if we can't gather together the 200 million homeowners in the country and get a much, much stronger voice to be able to put some political pressure on the builders and actually reform the codes and the laws and make some real change.
Right. Um, and I think one thing important to talk about when we talk about change. So we had Hunter Brook Media on a couple months ago and a lawyer in Florida who basically told us, for these neighborhoods and these people having issues, it seems to be a strategic move to do state by state versus a national coverall. I don't know if that's your plan or your tactic, but I think that there are so
To
many
do state by state, what did
state
you
by
say?
state, like grouped by neighborhoods or grouped by a portion of the state. At least
Oh,
that's what this lawyer's doing.
yeah,
Just
group them together into a class that's a smaller group, not whole
yeah,
country.
right. Because
Yeah.
he said it's just, and he said, I feel awful, but it's so hard to find a lawyer who would be willing to take on this case and battle them. So I think today's meeting is
Mhm.
important so we can talk about how do we get to those steps? How do we do things before we have to get to that point where we're looking for class action lawyers, which we're probably going to end up doing anyways. But all right, let's do a split question first. Sai, you go first and see if there's any difference between East Coast, West Coast. What are the most common issues you find in new construction?
So things are going to be a little different here, and I think I have a great answer for this. And the most common defect right now is actually gas leaks. We're pushing over 300 gas leaks for this year. I'm finding them on almost every single home and every single adjacent home. And to put it into perspective, this is a defect where they tell you to call 911 and evacuate your home.
Yeah.
All right, Robert, how about you?
Yeah, we're not having widespread gas leaks, but we do get them now and then. Uh, and they have the same similar responses. Go talk to the power company, call 911, not go back to your builder. And this is brand new construction you're talking about. You get a gas leak on a new house, you call the builder. It's their responsibility. And the builder should rush it over there to the house with their HVAC guy or the gas guy and fix it immediately, no charge, nothing. But the warranty, oh, I'm sorry, you're out of warranty, or I'm sorry, just call 911. And it's a pathetic response to try and get out of the responsibility to fix something. Other common issues that we're finding, and Sai, I see this on your posts. You have a lot of concrete or clay tile roofs. We have a lot of asphalt shingles. And I don't have the concrete tiles hardly at all. We're either metal or asphalt shingles on the East Coast, South Carolina, Southeast, where I'm currently uh, working. Um, so asphalt shingles, horribly nailed improperly. I'm expecting, actually, I just heard we're having a lighter than usual hurricane season coming up this year.
Knock on wood.
Um,
Knock on
but
wood.
you never know. You could still get one category five, and it's enough to devastate large areas. But I see 100% of the houses that we're looking at, asphalt shingles, the nail spacing is this weird, very consistent pattern where they take the width of the shingle and put one, two, three, four, five nails over here on this half, and then all the way to the other end and put the last or sixth nail. Uh, I can't get the builders to change that. They keep doing that, so I'm expecting that we're going to have a lot of roofs blowing off this next hurricane. We'll need, category three, category four, or something strong enough
Right,
to make that a rampant problem. But
right.
um,
Aside, when we talk about roofs, you can walk on your roof, right? I know this is a
Um,
big thing. What is the, I
it
know in
depends.
Arizona.
It depends on who you ask, but yes, I have never ever in my life voided a roof warranty by walking on it.
yeah,
Okay. Well, and I would assume
same
that
here.
shingles is much different to walk on than a tile or clay roof.
Yeah, but they'll
Yeah,
still they'll still tell home inspectors across the country that you can't walk on a shingle roof either.
yeah, you avoid the warranty.
Yeah.
I even lift shingles so I can see the nail pattern, and I'm told I'm immediately voiding the warranty. So you're telling me that if one shingle blows off your roof, you can't walk on the roof to fix it? You can't send a roofer up to do it? 'Cause I'm more qualified than most roofers to fix or even examine a shingle. But anyway, that's the silly games that these builders will play,
Are there
trying
any
to talk
state
you out of investigating.
are there any state laws that say, hey, you can walk on the roof?
Not in Arizona, but some states, their home inspector's license actually requires you to walk on the roof as long as it's safe. The state of Arizona doesn't have that, but they do have a disclaimer that the builders will try to use to void your warranty, and that's if they can prove someone caused the damage. And that's why I document all my roof walks to make it impossible for them to accuse or prove that I caused the damage.
Right.
Yeah, same here. No restrictions on walking on the roof and no mandatory requirements to go up there. They kind of leave it up to the inspector to do it if it's safe. But I think Nachi and Ashy in the standard of practice for home inspection says you don't have to go up on the roof. It's not mandatory.
Right. It's not
Correct
mandatory to
me
go
if
on the
I'm
roof?
wrong. Pardon?
It's not mandatory to go on the roof?
Pardon?
It's not mandatory to go on the roof?
Uh, there's a lot of things that are not mandatory. You don't have to cite code violations, but you have to look at it. You have to inspect it, but you can do it from a ladder tilted up to the eave. You can use a drone. You can drive by as you go by the house as you're going, the way the building departments do it.
Mhm.
You know,
All right, well then here's my question.
drive
Um,
by. Pardon?
so, Sai, is any home inspector required to know codes?
No. As far as the state standards I know of, which I've looked into a lot of them, not one have I found requires the home inspector to know or cite code. In fact, they're typically trained and advised never to know or cite code.
Yep. Yep.
Because it's like real estate agents when they, I just went through this. So, and we talked about this at our meetup. In certain states, they completely dumb down what duties an agent owes to their client for that purpose, right? To remove liability from the real estate agent, when in reality, you're really
Sure.
damaging what can happen to the homeowner because that ownership level and responsibility isn't owed to you like it should be, especially when it comes to fiduciary duty. So it sounds very similar. Like everyone's just kind of
Yep.
working to work on protecting themselves. Someone said, and the warranties are a joke. And I can validate that because we built and
Sure.
we had a warranty and we had a water bubble in our front yard within like 2 years and had to pay thousands of dollars to get it fixed. And it was the connector from our house to the main line. And they said it's not their fault because the part was faulty. And if you want, you can go sue the part company, but it's not their fault that the water line leaked and created a big bubble in our yard. So yeah, if there's somewhere else to blame for warranties, they're going to do it.
Yeah, I challenge those denials of warranty responsibility by usually I can take it back to a code violation and they're responsible to fix any code violation. And usually the reason why a pipe leaks or something is it was installed improperly and not to code. So if you can get it back to uh, a code, and there's codes that cover pretty much everything. If there's a problem with something in the house, it's usually because the builder installed it improperly, didn't follow manufacturer's instructions or the code requirements, and boom, they're back. And we don't really care about your warranty, is what I tell a lot of homeowners. You probably do too, Si. It's like, don't worry about the warranty because the warranty doesn't cover anything. It's a made up document by the builder. It's
Yep.
designed and published by them. The warrant, and it expires when they want it to. It lasts as long as they want it to. The code, they're legally required, generally speaking, at least the states that I'm familiar with, the builders are legally required to comply with the code. So I push code when there's a problem and try and take it back to an original defect or deviation from the code. And then they have no argument.
Side, do you see more issues in the inspection you do right before you close or the 11-month inspection?
So in my area, I will always find more at closing because we have a special warranty. We actually have a state law warranty that completely destroys the builder's warranty. They're not even close to the same thing. So that's why I also don't care what the builder's warranty says, because our state law totally trumps everything in your document. And our state law actually includes special cosmetic warranties that only are valid at closing. So if you get a 1-year warranty inspection, about 10%, if not more, of your home is actually no longer warranted for damage.
I want to see a copy of that.
Yeah, how many states have that? Do you know?
So Arizona is the only one that I know that has this special workmanship implied warranty. We also have the state implied warranty for like major defects, and almost every state has that. I think Florida used to have a 10-year, and the builders brought it down to 8. Or 9. I think they brought it down to 9. And right now, Arizona is at 8 for the major hidden defects.
I think my state went down too. I'll have to go back. I remember reporting on it about 2 years ago.
Yeah. Every year, the builders will go before legislation to bring that warranty down. Every single year.
Yep. We're at 8 for major structural stuff, and only now they just reduced it to 12 months, which is barely enough time to figure out what's going on in your house. 12 months for almost anything that's non-structural. And it used to be 13 years, then they brought it down to 8 for almost everything, and now it's only structural, and that's South Carolina.
And then, so let's keep on to code violations. Why is it that code enforcement seems to be struggling or missing all this stuff or just not even in existence? Why does it feel that way, at least? I shouldn't say every place is like that, but you would think if code enforcement was aligned and on top of everything, there'd probably be less issues. So whoever wants to go first, you both get a chance to talk about this. So whoever wants to go first.
After you, Si.
All right. So before I answer that question, I can give two really quick stories. You have that big lawsuit that's happening in Florida right now, and that made the news, and even the Florida Attorney General got involved. And when the news interviewed him, they're like, hey, how is this happening? And they said, well, so-and-so builder is now allowed to use third-party inspections instead of the city because the city is overwhelmed.
Right.
Well, that sounds like a huge conflict of interest right there that I don't think I need to explain. And then another example is when I was working with the news stations here, they too investigated what's going on with these city inspections. And she was able to pull up the charts, and these city inspectors have to do like 40 inspections in a day.
Right.
It takes, if I wanted to, I could do 2 inspections in one day. That's a big difference from 40.
Mm-hmm.
So in my opinion, they're just overworked and overburdened, and they have a time schedule, and they're just going to do the quickest job they can. And they know they have almost pure immunity, so they don't have to be as good as we want them to be.
Yeah, I agree with all that. They're overworked, they're understaffed, they have no motivation, and they're underpaid too. Lots of them are not getting paid very well. And I see it that there's no professional engineer in charge. A lot of the building departments are staffed by a bunch of ex-contractors who didn't want to do manual labor anymore, so they got into building inspection. They have very little experience. They might have been a plumber and they know a lot about plumbing, but when they're the same guy who looks at your electrical and your structural framing. So they miss stuff constantly. I follow right behind them, and I'll find 50 to 80 code violations on every single house they look at. And they just issued the C of O the day before, meaning they finished all their 12 to 15 different inspection visits that they make. So they're not really qualified to be doing it, and we need to change that. Building departments are only misleading the public to believe that there's actually some level of inspection going on, and it's so superficial that it's just fooling us. And a lot of homeowners go, oh my God, but what about the building department? They didn't see that. They didn't catch all these violations. And the builder uses it as an excuse. He says, oh, there's no way you could have code violations, Bob. The building department inspected it. So it must be perfect.
And I saw in the National Association of Homeowners, you had a quote on there that each new construction home had between, I want to say around 5,000 code violations.
Each
3 to
home,
5, 2 to 5. I can't remember what the number was. You had something
50
on
to
your
80 was the number, is my kind of statistical average. 50 to 80 code violations, legitimate code violations on every single house we look at in South Carolina. And
I would support that here too.
yeah, see, thank you. I'm thinking there's large metropolitan areas like South Miami, or just Miami, Miami-Dade County, where the building departments are much more involved, and they cite for code violations. They make money off of it. South Carolina, I asked one of the local counties who issued 5,000 permits in a year for like 5 years running, every year 5,000 permits. And I asked them, I had to ask, how many code violations did you write tickets for? How many citations did you issue? And the answer was zero, none. 5,000 houses built, 5 years in a row, nobody ever wrote a ticket. So you wonder why the builders don't just go, guys, nobody's looking. Just go, get it done, go. And that's the situation. The building departments either don't care, they just can't cover it all. And we did that statistical, how many inspections a day does each inspector have to cover? And they don't necessarily have to do a whole house inspection. It's just rough in for plumbing or the electrical. And it could be faster. I don't need 4 hours to look at just the plumbing, but they need more than 30 seconds. And when you calculate how many sites they have to go to and the travel time and the fact that they don't leave the office for an hour and a half or so after they come in and then they break for lunch, and there's just not enough time in the day to get to every house. We even talked to the news investigative reporter about following an inspector around, a building inspector around, just to see where they went, and then to, through Freedom of Information Act, ask for their inspection reports for that day to see if they lined up. And if they said, I didn't make it, have to reschedule, or did they just give it a pass? They
Should
get a
I
lot of
volunteer
pressure.
to start filing those for you guys?
Absolutely. Just
I'm having a lot of
pick an
practice.
inspector, follow them around. Uh, One of the news channels is working on that,
Yeah. Hey, real
apparently.
quick, Sai, I know that you did an introduction in the beginning, but there are some questions about the board behind your head. If you want to explain what that is, your conspiracy board.
Yeah, so this is just a conspiracy board, almost very similar to what we're talking about, but this is more of the electrical world rather than the builder world. But even then, it's still connected to the builders because, like, this guy right down here, he does electrical work for builders. Now, do builders hire the best people they can, or do they hire the cheapest possible electrician they can find?
That's a very good
Low
question.
bidder wins the job.
Yep.
It's like appraisal management companies who give the appraisals to whoever will bid the lowest and do it the quickest. But then they pocket the difference, so that's probably a little bit different. But there seems to be some common themes in this industry, unfortunately. All right, let me go on to my next question. So let's go to, oh, I know what I wanted to ask. Sai, are you seeing, because Robert has experience with this, builders going in and trying to change codes in your state?
Oh yeah.
So yes, that every year they go before state legislation and try to change codes, but not just with the state. They also try to change our local code. So we just barely shot one down where the builders try to change it to where they are no longer required to install garages and driveways in the
What?
name of affordability.
What?
Luckily, someone was smart enough to not pass that, so it got shot down. But they'll try
Oh
again
my
next year and every
gosh.
year until it happens.
Yep.
Oh my God.
Yep.
Oh,
Yeah, they're trying to delete codes on a regular
right.
basis. They would like to just throw the whole code book out and go to free building
Yeah.
at will. They would love
Like
that.
it's
Um,
like
it's a
MLS having
problem.
pocket listings in this industry. God, I can relate everything to. It's like a wild, wild west in this place. All right, someone had asked, how do you encourage ethical building affordably? And I don't think that is by removing garages and driveways. And I will say, in my experience in my area, there have been 4 or 5 neighborhoods that I see come up that I'm like, man, this would be great for like smaller starter homes. We're in a really good school district. Like, this is a great opportunity. And it consistently ends up being these $800,000 homes. The one down the street from me, word on the street is they went with like the cheapest grader. And these people are going to have water issues for years, but that's a different subject. But so, consistently what I see in good areas is they avoid building the starter homes. I even hate to say starter homes, but more affordable ones. So, Sai, do you want to go first?
Yeah, so I'm going to have a very different opinion on this because my personal opinion that anytime the public is going to bring out affordability, oops, did I just lose? Can you still hear me?
Yeah, you're good.
Yep,
Okay, my
we
screen
got
just
you.
went black.
Oh, you're good. You're still
Okay,
there.
there we go. All right, so anytime, I'm always worried anytime the public builds up affordability because that is what the builder uses to take away your rights. Oh, we are doing this in the name of affordability. We're going to take away garages and driveways, so now we can give you a cheaper home. Now, you may save
Right.
$10,000, but the builder's going to save $100,000. So $90,000 is going to go in the pockets of special people. So I really don't think we should be focusing on, hey, how do we get homes in the name of affordability? Because you're just going to lose all your rights if you do that. We need to focus on how do we get homes built to code and minimum standards.
Robert, your thoughts?
Yeah, that is the ultimate goal. Is the biggest problem we have is the houses that are being built aren't built to code and to anybody's minimum standards, and the builders are getting away with it. However, I have 7 kids, and a lot of them are at that I want to buy a house stage of life, and they're complaining to me that, hey, I can't afford a house. You guys had it easy when you were younger. House was 100,000. Now it's 800,000. Um, the problem is there's supply and demand, and when the people with money can afford the house, the builders are going to cater to them, and they're ignoring the lower income people, and
Right.
that's a problem because everybody deserves a house. We need more options for housing with the lower budget, the dollar menu, and then the other
Right.
menus, so people have those options. But the only way to get that, because it's business and builders are out to make money, they are motivated to be inclined to take those higher profit, higher end homes and build those and ignore the cheaper stuff. So it's probably going to get into some sort of government grants or funding or subsidies that feed or make it more attractive for builders to build the lower income buildings, which the taxpayers are going to pay for uh, inevitably.
Mm.
But it's an extremely complex issue. You can't just go into the whole real estate industry and say, let's just charge less for houses.
Yeah.
We can't drop the value because all the people who paid 500, they want to sell it for 6. They don't want to have it devalued
Yeah.
across the board.
It's
So
hard.
there's almost no way to change that. It's always going to keep going up.
Yeah.
Um,
It's hard because I always think about it, especially recently, how the industry's lost their ever-loving mind. But I always think about it like this is something that's a necessity for people. It's not like we're all selling watches here, right? So it's really hard to kind of figure out how do you navigate all this fairly? But I did want to
yeah.
ask too, or I did want to, go off of what Sai said. Being able to even build it to code is obviously the first step because I know in the Hunter Brook Media story, Ashley was in there and she was the one who bought a home on her own. She was getting her, it wasn't her nursing degree. She was getting I think it was a master's or a doctorate degree. And she had mold in her home. And that was 2 or 3 years ago. And she's still fighting with, I believe it was D.R. Horton or Lennar.
Lennar.
Was it Lennar to get that fixed? And she's still fighting with them. And so you think about people that are scrounging together every penny they have to buy this new construction home. And she's
Mhm.
in a place now where she's paying attorney fees. She can't live there. I don't even know where she's living now. She still owns the home because she can't, who's going to buy it? You basically have to tear it down at this point because the mold problem just got worse and they just deny it and send in their other mold people that they like to show that it's not an issue when in reality it is. Like kids are getting sick. One lady had preterm labor. There are issues here. And when you're going in spending all of your money and this happens to you, it's like financially devastating. So, one other question that came
Yeah.
up that I don't think I had mentioned to you guys is what are your thoughts on the declining trades and their impact on these issues?
Declining trade, did you say?
So, less people in the workforce or less attention to detail is
Oh,
what
okay.
seems to be
The
reported. Care in
construction
what they're doing.
trades.
Yeah, construction trades, right?
Gotcha.
Yeah, not lumber and stuff. I know that's too deep for us. But what about like the actual labor trades?
Go
Yeah,
ahead, Sal.
I would blame Arizona. We're probably setting the standard and everyone's going to follow us. Experts don't build homes anymore. The way it works in Arizona is the owner of the company holds the license. Everyone underneath him is an employee, a low-wage employee that does not require a license. And they
What?
are the
Right.
ones doing the work. They are not supervised. They are basically discount tire kids building your house.
Wait,
Yep.
so you don't need like a license as an electrician to put the electricity in, the wires in?
Nope.
No. What?
The individual installing it doesn't need a license. Some one person in the company usually, and it could be the owner, or the one guy who they could get to pass the test to get licensed, then that's the license number that goes on the permit that allows them to do the job. All the individual workers almost across the country, I'm hearing that nobody's actually got to be licensed. They have to be working under the responsible charge of a licensed individual. But guess how many people they supervise? That one licensed guy when he's got a 2,000 staff HVAC company. They're not checking on anybody.
Oh my God. Wait,
So
so, and
that's
I'm
a big
assuming
part of
they
the
have
quality
multiple
problem.
neighborhoods at one time, right?
Absolutely.
So,
But I got a really funny story on this. So there's a famous TikToker, I think he's called Septic Life. And I'm pretty sure he's the one that told the story. They ended up hiring a plumber with a license because they too wanted to start to get into plumbing. Well, the guy they hired came from another company. The company forgot that guy they let go was the only guy that had the license for that entire
Yeah.
company.
whoa.
So now they
How many do
technically
most
can't
states
work.
operate? Is this like for most states?
I don't know if it's most states, but it's a lot of states.
Oh my God. So the
Yeah.
person doing your whole house doesn't have to have a license, but
And
someone does
the
who has to
the
come
the
look at
one
it.
licensed guy may never show up on the job site.
Oh my God.
Builders are that way. Builders don't really know how to build. They sell houses. They hire people to build for them. So, and those people are a bunch of uneducated, inexperienced, untrained, unsupervised workers who are just out there doing what the other guy told them to do. It's word of mouth training. South Carolina is like that. A lot of states, there's no certification requirements, no training requirements for workers. Those trades or whoever will take the job and go out and do the work. And I'm shocked and amazed sometimes that houses get built with the
Jesus.
lack of expertise of the
Sorry.
people who are putting them together.
So,
And
so is it not really a lack of trades? It's a fact that you don't need a license to do this stuff? Is that what really the focus
Kind
should
of.
be on?
So let me kind of give you a positive example. A company, Frame Tech, like I'm a huge fan of them. They brought me out to their workforce and even their factory. So they actually have an engineer that goes on site with the framing company to supervise and make sure everything is doing everything perfectly correct.
Mhm.
And they're like, "Hey, Si, find a defect." And not only could I not find a defect, I couldn't find an imperfection. And then I'm like, "Hey, how come more builders don't use you? Are you super expensive?" And he's like, "We're actually very competitive, but they're not the cheapest." So
Mhm.
the builder is saving those few extra dollars using those other companies than paying just a few dollars more for actual experts to build your home. And even then, they even offer like the ultimate quality product. And that ultimate quality product is only 10% more than the worst quality product you can use to build your home.
Wow.
yeah,
So
Good.
it is about every dollar and every penny.
Yeah, but
yeah,
it's again, in so many ways in this industry, none of that savings ends up to the consumer. I will say
Correct.
they bait them in with these, and someone had asked about this, these like low rate offers to get you into the home, but it's like beating the head off the wall to remind buyers that like you're paying for that. You are paying for an overly priced home. It's similar to what Open Door is doing right now, where they're promoting like 4.99% mortgage rates, which they couldn't even legally do right when their owner talked about it publicly. But it's because it's only applying to homes they sell, and those homes tend to be priced more than what they are actually market value. And so it's the same thing, but it's Oh God, this is terrifying. I had no idea. I'm going to look at my state to see. I had no idea that you don't need a license to be able to work on the home, as long as someone checks in on you, whichever way
Well,
they might be to look
they
at
don't even
specs.
check in on you as long as you
Yeah.
work under a license.
Oh my
Yep.
God.
They don't ever have to set foot on the job site.
Oh my
And
God.
lots of times they never do
Oh God. Okay.
until Cy and I come over and find
Right.
all their problems and make
Right.
them have to redo the whole roof. Then you hear from that guy.
Right. Oh
He
Jesus.
goes,
Okay.
no, this can't be.
Yeah. Then
Um,
I get an email saying, "Cy, come on."
Yeah, right. You're being too picky.
oh my God.
No.
You know what drives me nuts when they say that is like I'm paying you a lot of money for this home that
Yes.
shouldn't have imperfections or things wrong. I don't see anything wrong with buyers being picky when they're paying so much money for something that hasn't been lived in, hasn't been used yet. Like there's no reason for these issues. It's wild.
Yeah.
Someone did ask, this was for Cy, but you can both answer. Are there any local new construction companies that you do like?
So I just talked about frame tech. If I had an infinite
Yeah.
amount of money and time, I would hire those awesome experts to build my home. It's just
Yeah,
way too difficult. It's a full-time job and I can't do that. But I am in the process of buying a new build home and I plan on sharing that story here. They told
yeah.
me to be quiet about it for the next few days until everything is in gold.
Can they use your name to be like Cy Porter? Likes
Bill,
Cy Pilger
actually,
lives here.
Approved by Cy.
Yeah.
we
Cy
have
approved.
builders using my name and we told them to stop
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
they're not using it correctly. This builder, they probably won't use my name because they know of my circumstance that you
Yeah.
see
Oh, yeah.
behind
Yeah.
me,
Yeah. Yeah.
but it's probably eventually going to come out where I'm at and what community I'm in.
Yeah. Which is scary, I'm sure. I don't even like I have an article coming out this Sunday because I've been going against the home equity investment companies, and the bill in my state that's going to completely regulate them is supposed to go through the House in a couple days, and they don't like me. But I don't think that they know I am the reason why our state put this bill together. Um, so I'm a little concerned. I'm gonna have to get a better security system than our four-legged friends
Yeah.
here
Get a gun.
because not that they would do anything to me, but like you just don't know when you mess with people who have a ton of money and VC backings. And oddly enough, one of these companies is actually invested in by NAR. So it's going to be a great time. So, all right. So I'm getting sidetracked. How about general tips to protect home buyers when buying new construction?
I'll go last on this one because I have a terrible answer.
Uh, Tips for buyers. Uh, Seriously consider not buying a brand new home. Quality is so poor. Look at houses that have been tested and maintained. Uh, but where you're forced to buy something new because there's nothing else available, um, don't sign the builder's contract if you can avoid it at all, which is almost impossible. The builder's contracts are so one-sided, at least in our area, South Carolina. They will have clauses in there for termination that they can terminate at will, tear it up for no reason, keep your deposit, which is sometimes 10% or more, in any retainers or earnest money. They keep your money, tear it up, sell it to the next guy, and they have clauses in there where they can jack the price on you before closing, and there's nothing you can do about it. They give you the option to walk away, but if you don't want to pay the higher price, but you don't have an option to not pay the higher price and take it for what they first offered it. That happened a lot in COVID years when material costs were going up dramatically, and they used that as an excuse to have a sliding scale price schedule
Right. Sai, what
to
about you?
avoid signing those contracts.
Right.
And
Sai, what did we miss? I mean, I think an obvious should be pre-drywall inspection, post-close
So,
inspection, and
yeah, so what he said is very accurate. And I had to sign a contract. But you know what I told everyone when I signed the contract? I don't care what's in here. I'm going to beat it.
Yeah.
Like, oh, this 50,000
Yeah,
is non-refundable. Oh, I bet you I can get it back if I want it.
right.
So really, the best way to protect yourself, whether you're buying a new build or resale, is you have to have someone on your side that has that power to protect you. And the sad thing is, there probably is almost no one out there that can do that. And the other problem is a lot of people are claiming they can do that and they cannot. So you really just need to have the proper protection and the proper counsel to protect you for the biggest transaction you are ever going to make in your life that can literally ruin your entire life.
Yeah. Oh, we're all so positive here. Okay, what about people representing their clients? What can they do? Should they be going to the township office and pulling their code reports, the inspection reports? Like, what should they be doing to help buffer some of this?
Yeah. I think so. If you're buying an older house and it's had additions and renovations and changes, repairs done, there should be permits for that kind of work on file. In most jurisdictions across the country, they require permits for work to be done. So if people didn't pull a permit, you don't know what you're getting. And they're usually available. That information is available at the building department. You can give them a call, give them the street address, any permits on file, and they'll tell you either no, there's none, or yeah, we had one little one here, but well, how about this 2,000 square foot addition they put on the house? No, we don't have anything for that. So steer away from those. And that's something where the agent could make the homeowners more aware that the older houses that have additions and things uh, definitely are worth making a phone call to the building department to find out if the work that was done was correct. Um,
Cy,
Always
what are your
find
thoughts?
find the
Sorry.
best sorry
No, you're good.
best inspector you can find. Get pay Cy extra to come out to your house, and no matter where you are. Cy, can you go across state lines?
Well, technically I could because not all states require licenses. So
Oh,
I could technically
exactly.
go work in any state. I just have to follow their contract laws.
Yeah, okay. But definitely find the best inspector, and I like to use the building department and the state licensing board when builders don't want to cooperate. Is try and get them involved. They're code enforcement people, but there's tricks, and usually they try to deny any responsibility anyway and push you off somewhere else. So educate. We appreciate it when the realtors are teaching the homeowners about the whole process and helping them understand that there is no perfect house. You're going to find issues. Don't freak out over it. You walk away from this house, the next one's going to have the same things. Uh, just be smart about trying to get the seller to pay for most of the repairs or all of them if you can. And when you can't, negotiate a price reduction in order to be able to afford to fix it yourself later if necessary.
Do you know what's interesting about where you are, Robert? This came up in our forms meeting. So post NAR settlement, builders were offering bonuses out the wazoo to real estate agents, right? Like,
Oh, really?
if you, oh my God, if they sold 3 homes that year, this was certain, D.R. Horton was one of them. They're all different programs. One of the builders had, if you sell at least 3 of our homes this year, we'll bump you up a whole percentage of commission.
Okay.
But post lawsuit, like everyone's supposed to agree up front with their agent on what their fee is. But in South Carolina, the realtor group put together a whole bonus section in their buyer agreement. And then they had a whole training video to say, hey, you can't change this after you start working with a buyer. So if you know you're going to certain neighborhoods, they made it like a little convoluted, right? Like a little secretive, but like if you know that there is something out there in certain neighborhoods, make sure you put this in because you can't add it once you sign it. And it's like, oh my God, like, and of course, Doug Miller lost his mind. He's like, this is bribery. And,
Oh,
uh,
yeah.
but it's
Fraud.
fascinating. It's just wild that, what they will do to get a home sold. So anyway, Sai, go ahead. What should
Sorry.
you think agents should be doing?
So I actually am glad he went first because I would have answered this totally different. Everyone needs to make best friends with their building official. like all the stuff you see me doing videos on is because I've been very close to all my building officials because I service like 30 cities. And I reach out to every single one of them because you know who always trumps the builder is when you have an email from the building official saying your builder's wrong.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
really, everyone needs homeowners, realtors. You need to be getting your information from the building department, not from builders, because they can lie to you. And
Absolutely.
I also like that you brought up classes because we're doing classes. We've been working with homeowners and realtors. And I just bought a home, and everyone's like, "Sai, why didn't you use me?" And it's like, "Because you're not coming to my classes. Why would I use you?"
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe you can, whenever you host those classes, are any of them virtual or are they all local?
Not yet, because we're kind of still starting it. I think we've only done 4 classes,
Okay.
and we need to really get the feel for it. Because every now and then we'll see where we're not following the law. We'll have something copyrighted in the background that can't be there. So we've already addressed that. So we're just getting ready.
Yeah. That's the copywriting's hard, but it's
Yeah.
you know where I find the best tools, and especially for our recent one on forums, is so many of these people make public video tutorials about their forms and how to fill it out. And I was like, well, man, you just put this out into the world. Like anybody can look at this right now. And I so appreciate that. But okay, I'm gonna get off subject. There was a couple more. I know we're running out of time. How do we solve the problem of new construction issues and what we're facing right now? Who
You
wants to
want that
go?
one, Si?
Go ahead, Sai.
Sure. Also, I want to give a shout out to people typing in the comments. I can see your comments, so keep doing it. Some of them are hilarious.
Oh,
It goes back to what I said at the beginning is we really just have to focus on following code and minimum standards. And I don't think the issue is as hard as everyone thinks it's going to be. I do understand that the building departments are totally overloaded, but I should be able to forward my report to the building official. And he goes, "Holy cow, Sai's right. All this stuff is true." And then he just goes to the builder and gives him my report and says, "Sai's right. Fix it all." Like that would solve so many issues here in Arizona. Let the third party inspectors start to work with the building department.
But that would mean they'd have to understand code to a degree, right?
So usually at least one person is educated. So for example, in the city of Phoenix, we're huge. So we actually have engineers and very educated people, way more educated than I am. And those are the people I'd want to send my reports to.
Mm.
And then say it's a smaller city where they don't have someone with that type of education, then I should be able to send it to Phoenix and let Phoenix say, "Hey, Sai's right. Maricopa City, you need to be doing what he says."
Mm. So we need powerful friends, is what you're telling us.
We need to have the building officials involved in the third party inspection world, or there has to be a way where we can communicate together to help these homeowners.
Mm-hmm. And how does the building official work? Is it by township, by city, or is it just very?
It's going to depend on how your jurisdiction is set up. It's really weird here in Arizona because we'll even have the city of Phoenix be the building official for other cities just because they're so big.
Okay.
right. Yeah.
Is that similar to you, Robert?
Yeah. Somehow they all draw lines and go, okay, we got this area. And if you live in our area, we're your building department. And it varies and overlaps, and bigger ones support the littler ones.
And then what type of inspector should we be looking for when getting a new build inspection? Special certifications? Are there specific questions to ask? Or I should ask this question. Are home inspector certifications as dumb as some realtor certifications are, where you take like a 2 hour course and you get to slap a label onto some letters behind your name?
Yeah.
Is it that bad in the inspector world, or are there legit certifications?
It might be worse.
Oh God.
Because some cities you don't have to have a license. You can just
Right.
say, "I'm a home inspector," and you're a home inspector.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm.
There's definitely a broad range of requirements for certifications or any of that. And uh, homeowners need to protect themselves, and interview the inspectors and try and find out what they know, what their experience level, how many years of experience they've been doing it, what their background is. Were you, a plumber and you got into it, or were you a builder and you were involved in all phases of the construction? Are you an engineer who did something, in broad terms with construction in general? Uh, there's there's a lot of people that get into home inspection who really know very, very little about how to build a house, and there's programs and things to help home inspectors get the inspection done, but they vary the quality of the inspections that you see. One guy might find five things, you'd have 10 inspectors look at the same house, and you're going to find different things and miss different things depending on who you got looking at it. And it's very difficult, in my opinion, to find the guys who are the best. So do you go on Facebook and say, hey, who's the best inspector in town? And sometimes that helps. But like with any review, sometimes the bad guys slip through and they get great reviews, and all of a sudden you're hiring someone who's horrible and you're stuck with that. I try and educate people, and
Yeah.
the realtors can help us with that.
Sai, what are your thoughts? Any specific questions or things to look for new construction home inspectors?
Yeah, even resale. I would like to add a lot to that. He did make one really good point. And I want to even make it sound worse. I think it's impossible for you as a homeowner to find a good home inspector. But there are certain questions you can ask that are going to significantly help. And I think the best question you can ask is, what success do you have getting these builders to make repairs when they say no? And I bet you 99.99% of them will say, oh, we don't get involved after we give you the report. We want nothing to do with it. It's like, a good home inspector has to be involved, not just after, or not just for the inspection, but after. They have to be able to guide you and give you advice and share their experience. And almost no inspector on social media does that. You'll see, if you go watch all these inspectors on TikTok, they're showing you what they find. They never show you what we were able to accomplish because of our findings.
That's a very valid point. And Sai, you and I talked about this. It's the same with real estate agents. Like, reviews and even asking questions at times isn't going to help you sniff out the good ones. And marketing, it's almost like the views and the follower counts doesn't really matter, like and I hate to say that because I know that you have plenty of them, but at times like someone can be really good at marketing and be horrible at what they do, unfortunately. That's scary. What do you have hiding, Sai?
So I think all home inspectors need to start collecting these. Anytime you're involved in citations given to builders, forcing them to make repairs, these are your receipts. If you don't see these hanging on your inspector's wall, he's not doing anything for you. He's just making content.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we need to ask people for citations.
I like to get homeowners to ask inspectors good questions, like interview them like they're going to work for you, because they are. Do you go on the roof? Do you go in the crawl space? I've got inspectors who will go in 2 feet, scan around, take a couple pictures in a crawl space, and then they're done. Do you go to the far corners of the attic? Ask some critical questions and try and get a feel for what they're really going to do for you. The standards of practice don't require them to do a lot, but there are a lot of things that the standards of practice say are optional that you can do. And these guys choose to do the bare minimum that they can do so they can get in, get out. It's a lump sum fee usually. So if I can do it in an hour, I get paid the same amount if I stay here for 3 hours and really look at everything. How long do you take for an inspection? It's another good question.
Is it worth asking for an example of their inspection report?
Absolutely. Right?
Yeah, you can, but you're not going to know what you're looking at. And I'm not going to mention the name of the inspector that we were talking about earlier, but what he said is a great example. That inspector bragged about doing 14 inspections in 2.5 days. It's like, that's as bad as the building inspectors.
Oh my God.
Wait, 14 and a half in 2 days?
or it was 14 in 2.5 days.
How?
Exactly.
Yeah, 7 a day. Yeah, I have a 2-man team and we spend about 4 hours on every single house. So it's like 8 hours of inspection. I charge, I don't know, 20% more than the average guys, and my fees are listed on my website. Um, it's you have to spend time. It takes time to really dig in and find things. They're there. Just you gotta look, open things up and look. Uh, Good luck trying to find a really good home inspector. There is a website that NACHI has, National Association of Certified Home Inspectors. If you want to at least make sure you got a certified inspector, they have a website called inspectorseek.com. And at least if you go there, they could be crap. Yeah, I'm not saying anyone you pick off that website is any good, but at least you know that they've been through Nachi's training courses and they should have a basic understanding of it. But at least if you have no other option, you don't know where to go and who to talk to, at
Do you
least
both have
interview
names?
those guys.
Do you
Sorry.
have names of people in the US that you would actually have people use? Do either of you have like a list? Like I have a good list and I have a no list. It's called the no list.
Yeah, I
And
have
my no list.
one Cy Porter out in
Right.
Arizona.
So,
He's guaranteed good. I
yeah.
do tell people if I can't get to an inspection, I've got 2 or 3 of the best inspectors in my area. I say they're not engineers, they're not going to check for code. They do some, but not focusing on it 100%. But they're much more thorough. They'll spend a lot more time. They're better than your average home inspector, and I will send people to who I have determined to be better. And I've looked at their reports, I've talked to them, I know them, and I get good feedback from the homeowners after they use them. Hey, I used that guy you referred me to, and he was great, and he had 60 things on the inspection report.
Side, do you have a list?
Yeah, so that that's exactly what I'm working on is we want to have one inspector in every state that can control that state. So for example, if you're in South Carolina, I know exactly who you need to be calling. But I need that in every single state in the country. And then in order to help those inspectors, we also need a lawyer that will help those inspectors in every single state. The lawyers should be easier because a lot of these lawyers are able to work in multiple states. Whereas a home inspector is not going to be able to really drive across state lines very easily because it's just too far to do an inspection. He's going to be busy working in just his city. But the reason I want at least one is because he knows who the good inspectors are in his area. I can tell you who every single bad inspector is in my state. I know exactly who they are.
Oh yeah.
So
We
can you
we should
guys,
talk.
off record,
Right.
can you
I'm
guys share
working on
those
that
names
list.
with me? If you don't mind.
Sorry.
So off the top of my head, this list hasn't been fully developed because in order to be official, I have to meet with you one-on-one and shadow with you. But like you've got Iron
Good.
Shore in Utah that handled those huge Toll Brother homes that were sinking in the foundation.
Oh, right.
So he was involved in those. You have me in Arizona. Looks like you've got Robert here in South Carolina. Inspector AJ's like the biggest guy on TikTok, and he's in Tennessee, but he's super busy. So we're gonna have to find someone there. Texas has some of the biggest names, but I highly encourage everyone to reach out to Inspector Randall and then let him refer you out if you're not in his service area. And those are really just the ones I can think of off the top of my head. If you're in Canada, you have Nook and Cranny. If you're in Australia, you have that crazy site inspection guy who has actually got builders to lose their license. So they're out there. We
Yeah.
just got to find them.
Well, I guess the list I'm interested in, you don't have to put it publicly, is your no list. Just so I can add it to my no list because
I couldn't even show the no list because it's going to have thousands and thousands of people on it. It would be impossible to share.
but
Almost
I
all of
literally,
them.
I have a list. And when we have new members, I check my list because I will happily refund you because I don't want you in the group. Or there's even certain companies I'm like, I'm gonna have to talk to you before you would step foot in here based on what's happening in real estate right now.
Basically, if you're not on my yes list, you're on my no list.
Great.
Yeah. I meet with like 25 experts in the construction industry. A lot of them are inspectors, some of them are building officials. And we meet every Sunday morning at 10 a.m. Si, I might invite you to that group. Zoom call, we'll talk for an hour, but it's people from coast to coast, north to south. And a lot of them are home inspectors. So I, I could share that list with you, Si, if you're trying to develop a state by state list.
Yeah, so I will be visiting like everyone in the country. So I will
Yeah,
need
I'm
people to
going there
start
too.
weeding out
You're
or a
going on
place to
tour,
start.
Si.
Yeah, I'll be
Yeah.
doing tours.
You're going on tour.
Well, that's the plan. I shouldn't say we are. That's the plan. I may just get fed up and give up and just only help Arizona.
No, no, no,
Because
don't
there's
do that.
nobody out
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
Don't
Yeah,
do that. It's
I'm
it's
in the
all
same
needed.
boat,
It's all
trying
needed.
to help everybody.
I do think that we are in a really good position right now from an advocacy standpoint where the industry is truly eating itself alive, and I think consumers are getting disgusted with behaviors, actions, corporation decisions, and I think that new construction is also having their time in the sun with media and stuff. So I think that if there was ever a time to strike, like it would be now,
You're right.
building your army and doing those things. And however I can help you do those. I went fishing for lawyers. I found one in Ohio that at least on social and on paper has some big kahunas and does not care about who they upset in the real estate industry. So I feel like that's like a green flag for me. And I did reach out to them, and they said they do work with new construction. So I can happy to connect you to them too. And I know that Doug Miller will, if he can't help you, he will find you someone in Minnesota that would absolutely take these people on. Actually, I could think of a female attorney who would do it too. So anyway, so off channels, we can work on that. Closing remarks, because I know that we got so behind. And Robert, maybe I think I connected you with Julie already. She was the one working on compaction reports or lack thereof in her city.
Soil, okay,
So I'll reconnect you with her because she had some questions
sure.
on talk about someone who got pissed as just a consumer and went
Everybody.
down the rabbit hole. And in her neighborhood, I believe the issue is not only were these things not meeting the standard for their soil compaction report, but the company that did it went out of business. And so
Yeah,
these buyers aren't even able to get the physical copy of the report to see if their home was actually passed. If it was, no one has
yeah.
any idea. So I'll
And
connect
even
you
if
with
you
her.
have the reports, and I used to be in the industry, working for those third-party inspection agencies, and we worked for D.R. Horton and Lennar and various. The first half of my career was on the commercial side, working for those types of clients. And we did soil tests on building lots before they dug footings. And the technicians we would send out there, not necessarily 100% the sharpest tools in the shed there. And the reports can be very misleading, and it's a spot check on soil. And the builders paid so little to get that service done. It was like, $20 a house lot, or 80 or $100 a house lot, and you did very little and you gave very little. So the reports, you may get a passing test, but it's not real. So the reports almost have no value. If you
That's
want to make
comforting.
sure your lot is compacted right and prepped right and demucked, and they take all the roots out and all the organics, inspect it. Have your inspector do a little more come when they're excavating or after they finish excavating. I could tell you horror stories about houses built on stump dumps where all these old stumps and tree branches and things are underneath the house, and the rotting vegetation seeps up into the house, and the homeowners can't even live there. And one of the big major builders,
I'm
that I
shocked.
won't
I'm
name,
shocked.
but they start with a P. And they took 4 years to buy the house back from this elderly couple who was stuck moving out after a year because the gases coming up from the vegetation were so bad, was so strong. Um, the the moral of the story is, if you really want to know for sure, uh,
Do it
hire
yourself.
a commercial soil testing and geotechnical firm
Mm,
that'll check the same place where the builder's cheapo contractor is checking,
yeah.
and that way you can rely on the data.
Tam, you had a question. Si, shouldn't you be walking past a sign when we're talking about these people? Which I have to ask you, like, do they come after you for that to try to sue you when you say I can't tell
We
you
all
who the
want to
builder
know.
is?
Yeah, so when I had that certain builder come after my license, that was in part of the license complaint is he's not allowed to wear shirts that even somewhat indicate something, or he can't walk past certain things, even if it's on public sidewalk. Like that was all in my license hearing.
Oh my God.
And did you win?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Now,
So you're allowed to do all that?
well, I don't want to say I'm allowed to do anything. The
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
state just found that I was not in violation of anything.
Okay.
Oh man. All right. So closing remarks. If what would you want to leave your last statement with for buyers and agents? I mean, really, this is going to go out to the whole network. So plus the public. So a warning, a tip, anything, an
The most
explanation on
important
the
thing
people behind you.
is going to be getting this information out. Everything we talked about is gold. People need to understand there's only a very small handful of people out there that are actually going to protect you. We're going to know which lots are prone to have soil issues that even though the builder passed, we know they probably did not pass. That's the whole reason we started energy audits, because we found that the builders may not be passing the energy audits they claim they passed. So
Yeah.
really, people need to understand there's only a small group out there that are going to do everything they can to protect you. And this information really does need to get out there.
Mhm. Robert, final thoughts, statements, tips? Now that we're all terrified, my mouth
Yeah.
has been open for majority of this meeting, and I need to get myself together here to figure out how this better gets out. The
Yeah.
fact alone that I didn't know the person doing the wiring of your house doesn't need to be licensed. Like they could be having a YouTube
Yeah.
video, right? And just
Yep.
Yep.
watching it and trying to
Yep.
fill it in.
Yep.
My
Knowledge is key. When you're going into a real estate transaction, you have to be smart about it, make informed decisions. Where do you get that information from? Where do you get the knowledge from? Not necessarily your inspector, not necessarily your realtor. There's information from websites like my brand new website, National Association of Homeowners. We're looking to get as much information as we can out to homeowners about all these pitfalls and problems and issues and things to look for, uh, to make sure that you don't see those at your house. And
God.
we need to educate the home inspectors in the world and get them doing a better job. The building departments aren't doing it. Maybe it's time to throw away the building departments.
So
And
I will warn you that legislation has been pushing that, and I don't think I support that. I would rather have us
which
work
part?
together that they're going to throw out building inspectors from
Okay.
the local
Municipalities.
jurisdictions. My only concern with that is it's a lot easier for a builder to corrupt a third party than it is to corrupt a government.
Right,
True.
right.
Uh,
Yeah, this is terrifying. Can I ask you this? So, at what point is Robert and Cy going to have their own certification label out that other inspectors can use to get educated? Courses, programs, what are you doing? What can you do for the love of God, please? Um,
I'm working on something. Sounds like Sai's got something going on with classes and things. I'm working on it's really hard to put a seal of approval on anything.
yeah.
And because of all the liability that automatically you assume from that. But we're looking at developing a program, and it's in the early stages of it, of interviewing, talking with home inspectors, and even realtors, and builders, and making sure that they meet some of the basic requirements, and that they, I don't know, are going to do things right. It's a very difficult thing to do, but at some point we want to have the NAHO seal of approval, or that these guys have been vetted by us and you don't have to run from them. But there may be nobody on that list.
That's the scary. So I have a good
Yeah.
list, and I even make it clear. Like I have 8 criterias, and not everybody meets all 8. Maybe they meet 5, or the reasons why they're on our good list vary. But I try to make it clear, like there's no perfect person anywhere, and like
Mhm.
some of these people are on there because they recorded a company pitching something that violated RESPA that we got to send to the CFPB. Like, there's actionable things for different reasons, but it's very far and few to find someone that's like checking all 8 my boxes that I would be like, yes, take all my money. Please, everyone, give them your money.
Yeah.
And that's hard. It's really hard. And I'm sure, Si, you've gone through that too. Like, it's very hard to find someone that checks all the boxes.
It was really stressful when we first started what we were doing here, because I was almost like, there's no hope. But
Yeah.
with patience, hope started to happen. And so I'm really excited for what Arizona has in store for them. And I really hope we could bring this to the rest of the country. Because if I could get Arizona's state implied warranty to the entire country as a national implied warranty, that would be insane.
Yeah, I can help. I mean, my state representative, I unfortunately put him through the ringer with this home equity investment company target, but I know that he'll do it. Like I need to give him a vacation because this one's been a little tricky for him. But I'll look into what my state offers and see if there's even something. I know they dumbed down whatever it was, but I'll have to go back and look. So
Yeah, you'll probably have a state statute for major defects, but that should be all you have.
yeah, but there should be way more.
Oh yeah, there should be some form of workmanship state statute, where I don't think any builder has, or
Yeah.
any
Yeah.
state has.
Okay.
Nothing. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
I
gonna
agree.
have, especially because one of the builders that consistently shows up in these lawsuits hasn't been in my city until recently, and I just cringe when I drive past them, and I think maybe I should give them the benefit of a doubt. Maybe their building supervisor is really good, but I know the answer to this, and I'm just
It's
terrified.
possible. I have seen good building supervisors from almost every builder, but maybe like 5.
Yeah, yeah, I know. It doesn't mean that the quality is going to be there. Doesn't mean they're going to be in that home all the time. Okay, well, thank you both for this. And if
Thank you.
anybody wants to ask you further questions, which I am sure they will, or learn about your classes, what's the best way for them to find you?
So I kind of stay hidden for a reason. So they have to find me to ask me questions. When you do find me and ask me questions, keep them short. If you send me a book, I'm going to read the first sentence, and that's what I'm going to reply to.
Mhm.
Yeah. You got my email? Can
Mhm.
you put you're more than welcome to
Yeah.
put my email out there, and
Okay.
then the link to NAHO,
Okay.
National Association of Homeowners. If anybody wants to join and take advantage of that, we're gathering together the entire country. The bigger the group, the
Power
more
by
power we
numbers, right?
have to make some
Yeah.
real changes.
Yeah. I do think it's comforting to know that there's people like us who are doing our best to change this, but it's hard. There are days where I am so frustrated that I just want to hit my head against a wall, and then there are other days where I feel invigorated and so excited about the possibilities. But I guess that's any challenge, right? Like there's going to be tough days and there's going to be good days, but the passion never goes away. I just get really tired some days, I guess. All right, thank you both. This
Hang in
was
there.
super helpful. Um, I'll include the ways that you suggested to find you. Can I tag your TikTok handle, Si? Can I at least
Yeah,
give them a seed
you,
of where to find you?
you should tag all my social media.
Okay. All right, I'll let you guys go because we're over time, and I so appreciate this, and thank you so much.
No problem.
And I'll make sure to
Great
point
meeting you,
everybody in your
Si.
directions.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
thank you.
All right, thanks, guys. Have a good day.
Yep. Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye, guys.